This is what I read about the Hampshire Police Force. Now, this is the one that dealt with the Henry Nowak case. And it was leaked today in a newspaper that the police force had actually said that they were going to put forward a statement before the trial, which put Henry in the bad light as the aggressor. And we've all seen the footage. We've all seen the evidence. We've all seen the evidence of this situation. And what we've learned from it is Henry was not the aggressor. There was no evidence of any racial abuse from Henry, no evidence of any violence from Henry. What we have seen about Vickrum Digwa is that he was kicked out of his temple for stealing weapons. He slept in his room with weapons. He was seen brandishing a gun in his back garden in 2022. He was very fond of violence and was known for being a supporter of violence. He lied to the police. His family hid the dagger, and his family lied to the police on the phone. So what we do know from this case is the Sikh family were lying. They were trying to cover up the crime. Vickrum was a violent individual with a history of violence. He had been reported for his behavior and likelihood of extremism in the past. He had many weapons and had a history of brandishing firearms. So I don't know if that sounds like a violent man to anybody but me. But to me, that sounds like a bit of a violent man. To me, that sounds like a man with a history of hatred and anger and a love and a lust for weapons and blades. And I'm not one for pattern recognition. But also, if we apply a little bit of pattern recognition to this situation, I would like to think that potentially this man, would end up in a situation where he would react to somebody in a violent manner, probably with a weapon. Now, I don't know if I'm just like Sherlock Holmes and the greatest detective to ever walk the earth, or I'm just using a bit of common sense, but that seems like something that could have been foreseen. That seems like something that was written in the stars. And he was reported many times. There was never any action taken. There was never any sustainable intervene. But instead, they allowed him to carry on. And what happened? Well, he ended up stabbing Henry Nowak 5 times and killing the man. He ended up stabbing the man 5 times and killing the man. And the Hampshire Police Force go out of the way to want to release a statement putting Henry as the perpetrator, as the aggressor, as the violent man. And then when I see all these people in Southampton outside of the police station yesterday shouting at the police, calling them scum, and I watch the speeches, and in the speeches they're talking about it's not about race. It's not about race. Take the knee for Henry. We have to take the knee for Henry. Shouting about Robinson, Tommy, whatever. Some of the auditors were doing my head in as well. I watched some of the auditors, and you had somebody like Urban Fox Media, and this is the call out, by the way. Somebody shouted, "White Lives Matter." White Lives Matter. They do. Somebody shouted, "White Lives Matter." And you hear Urban Fox Media then respond to his camera, "Oh, I don't know about that. All lives matter." No, how about fuck you? How about white lives matter? How about the people that are being persecuted, killed, raped, replaced in their own homeland? How about their lives matter? They are the white people. How about that? We had years of this whole Black Lives Matter and white supremacy and white privilege. How about fuck you? How about that? How about it's time for the white people to matter? How about it's time for the white people to stand up for their own lives, for their own future? How about put your subversion up your fucking ass and piss off? And I know that's harsh language, but I don't care. I think what's harsher is watching my people raped and murdered and sexually assaulted and replaced in their own homeland. And then when they want to say their own lives matter, for you to turn around to your camera and say, oh, I'm not sure about that. How about you're a grifting retard? How about you actually don't care about my people? How about that? So I watched some of these things and I didn't like that. And then I watched people taking the knee. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. And I'll say it again. Stand up. Why are you taking the knee? In fact, I messaged my friend English Ned about this because I watched a video where English Ned was in a police station and he took the knee. And I said, Ned, what are you doing taking the knee? And he said he was showing solidarity with Henry. And I understand why people think they're doing the right thing. And I explained this to Ned, and Ned ended up agreeing with me. What taking the knee is doing is it's showing submission to a system that fundamentally hates you. You do understand that when people were taking the knee to the black community in the BLM, it was to try and show lesser. It was to try and show submission to these people that they deemed as being oppressed. We are the ones being oppressed. We are the ones being murdered. We are the ones being hard done by. We are the ones losing our brothers, our sisters, our children, our future. We are the ones losing that. Why are you kneeling to a system that fundamentally hates you? It's performative. It's retarded. Stand up. You don't kneel in the face of evil. You don't kneel in the face of somebody that wants to kill you. You stand the fuck up. So I watched all these people yesterday that were kneeling outside of this police station. Shouldn't be you that are kneeling. It should be the police that are kneeling in front of you. It should be the politicians. It should be the Sikh community that's kneeling in front of you. It shouldn't be you. Why are you kneeling to these people that are murdering yours? That's a sign of weakness. We're not weak. We've never been weak. We've never been weak people. I know they've tried to fundamentally make you feel like you're weak, but you're not weak. You are the product of the strongest race of the entire world, of the greatest tribe to ever walk this planet. You're not weak in the slightest. There's nothing weak about you. So taking the knee is pathetic, it's performative, and if you've done that, I want you just to sit and think. And I've watched many people do this, which I have great respect for, but I can't respect this. And I don't mind if I sound harsh when I'm saying this. What are you doing? What do you think kneeling does? And what pisses me off more is the fact that everyone's kneeling and they're all recording it as well. Like, what is this? Is this actually? This is why nothing changes in the UK. And I know this is going to sound harsh. This is why nothing changes, because everything now is just some form of publicity. It's how to earn money. It's how to grow your social media platform. That's it. That's it. That's all it is. People just want to grow. They don't care about tragedy. They just want to grow their social media platform. Oh, look at me. I'm taking the knee. Let me put it on. Let me put it on TikTok or Instagram. Are you retarded? Genuinely, it's stupid. It's just stupid. And this is why it irritates me to the point where we're supposed to be this like collective that are taking our country back, but we're kneeling to these systems. Like, where are we going from this? Is that it? Is that it? Are we just being virtue signaling now? Is that it? This is our moment. This is our golden moment. This is the 11th hour. This is the moment you change it back. We change the clocks. We finally tribalize. We finally become racially conscious. We finally win. And you're on your fucking knees. And then I say that, and I have people in my comments being like, oh, they're doing more than you are. What, because I didn't record myself taking the knee? If that's what doing something is, if that's what is worthy of a participation trophy, we're fucked. We are fucked. We're fundamentally fucked. If that's what our movement is, if that's what the progressive nationalist movement is, or the right-wing movement, or the patriots are, if that's all we are now, we are fucked. You wonder why the foreign communities aren't taking the knee, or the politicians aren't taking the knee, or the police forces aren't taking the knee. I'll tell you this. The reason they're not doing that is because they know they have strength. They're not scared of us. They see us as cowards. They see us as fundamentally pathetic. Why do you think, for example, the big Islamic communities can march around Tower Hamlets wearing all black, in ordered files, chanting Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, threatening people like UKIP? And I don't like UKIP very much, but threatening people like UKIP when UKIP want to march there. Why do you think they can do that? Why do you think the police force banned certain marches in these Islamic neighborhoods, or these demographically replaced neighborhoods? Why do you think they do that? Well, why do you think they ban the patriots marching there? It's because they know damn well that the Islamic communities would not back down. They would show a force of strength, a force of might. Answer this to yourself, and I mean this genuinely. Do you think if the Islamic community organized a big march in a very conservative area, a very white conservative area, do you think the police force would ban that? I don't think so. I'll give you an example. What about the Tel Aviv game? Or the Israeli game in Birmingham last I think it was November, when there were threats of violence, the Islamic community was threatening to attack British patriots and some of the Israeli fans. Now, I don't give a shit about football. I really couldn't care. But the point is here. The police didn't ban it and allowed it to take part because the Islamic community has a strength of force over the system. But if it was the other way around, like we've seen multiple times, they ban the white marches, they ban the white communities, they ban the nationalist marches or the conservative marches, they ban those marches because there's no show of strength. And when you have a chance to spread strength and power and a vision for the future, you take the knee and they just look at you and laugh at you. That's it. That's it. And that's the reality that we're at right now. That's the reality that our people are at right now. And if you don't want to accept that, and you don't want to make a change to that, and you just want to keep going with the flow, going with the status quo, and I keep saying this, you have to rewrite it one way or another, you're going to end up in the same way that's currently happening in South Africa, where the Boer, which are the white farmer, are being slaughtered in their thousands by the groups that hate them. That's what happens when you fundamentally lose grasp of a society, when you lose grasp over your system. It turns against you. It's turning against you. Henry Nowak is a case that will be repeated thousands of times in the UK to come unless we step up and make that change now. Unless we step up and fundamentally rework the entire system. Unless we step into a political revolution, severe political change with racial consciousness and sectarian voting for the white community. That's what you need. That's the change you should be making. Not taking the knee, but standing up for your people, standing up for your future. That is our future that lie ahead. Unless we work blood, sweat, and tears 24/7 around the clock to tribalize, spread communitarianism, put forward pro-white, pro-nativist candidates up for election into areas and work to get them into parliament, work to get them into councils, work to create our own bastions and strongholds, work to put forward ethnic ideas about what it is to be British, ethnic ideas about who should remain in this country, policy like remigration, repeal the Race Relation Acts, talk about positive discrimination against these groups that shouldn't be here via laws like banning the Quran, like banning halal and kosher meat. I've said this before, we should not be believing in freedom of religion. We have a state church. The only religion that should be promoted in this country and allowed to be promoted in this country is Christianity. We don't need an excuse for that. We quite literally have a state church. That is written into the foundations of our country. That's how it should work. And that's what we need to put forward. Which way, Patriot? Take the knee for the system that hates you, or work to rebuild the system as a whole? Allow these evil scumbags to dominate you and the system to kill your people and replace your people, or be the parasite that will enter this system and burn it from the inside out. Call me crazy, but I think I know which way I would rather go. I think I know which way I would rather go for the future of the British race, for the future of Britain itself. And it's not going to be easy. It's never been easy. This is not an easy battle. This is not an easy situation, but it's the right battle. It's the right situation that we must take. Otherwise, lay down and die. And it's as simple as that. Lay down and die. Lay down and give it up. Lay down and just say it's over. Black pill all you like. But I don't believe it's over. I think the British people are stronger than that. I think they've got more fire, more grit, more determination than that.